Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I bid to my respected panelists, IR Hazran and IRTS Dr. Baljit Singh. Hi, my name is Hafiz bin Mohd Amin. This is my final year project presentation. So my project entitled Investigation of Tribological Characteristics of Biofluids with Hyaluronic Acid Blends. So my supervisor is Sir Mohamad Mazwan. Okay, to go through this presentation, here's my presentation content. Firstly, I will explain about background study, then the literature review, my final year project problem statement, the objective of this project, the scope of work, methodology, expected result, my planning throughout this project, and finally my reference. Okay, so now we go to the background of study. First of all, what is biofluid? Okay, it is called as vegetable oil, which primarily obtained from plant oil. It gradually to replace mineral oil. The function is to increase the scope of the use in engineering application, or we call industry. So now the main issue is several studies have found even when the friction coefficient is low, the wear rate of biofluid is still high because of its ability to raise the coefficient friction. So plant oil continue to have low wear resistance in terms of high wear scar and low thermal stability. So the obvious issue of plant oil to perform at high temperature and in extreme environmental conditions such as diesel engine. There have been a lot of research on plant oil such as soybean, palm oil, but just a few research on sunflower oil and coconut oil. So when it compared to plant oil samples, the result shows that both sunflower and coconut oil has better tribological performance in terms of anti-friction and anti-wear. Both oil has shown to be useful lubricant due to low friction factor, biodegradability, and low environmental impact. You can see in the table from the author named Sajib on 2019 in his article, he has made comparison between coefficient of friction of plant oil. Sunflower oil and coconut oil has shown the lowest value friction. So my study will be focused on coconut oil and sunflower oil only. Okay, so have you wondered why I'm choosing sunflower and coconut oil? Okay, so based on the author named Mohamad Hassan Jabal on 2019, he said on his article, the sunflower oil shows sufficient tribological properties. He also said that the inexpensive cost of production and widely available, thus it has potential to be used as lubricant mating components. Okay, next. For the coconut oil, the author named Rajendran Krishnan on 2012, he said coconut oil among the vegetable oil that have been widely used. It has good lubricant properties such as high viscosity index and good lubricity. The advantage of coconut oil, it can improve mileage, better pickup, and smoother engine operation. So every project has its own problem statement and objective. So this project, my problem statement is to determine the tribological characteristics in terms of coefficient friction and wear scar diameter of coconut oil and sunflower oil. Next, to ensure both oils safe to be applied in the experiment. So there is still lack of research and data about the friction and wear scar diameter regarding the biofluid of coconut oil and sunflower oil for the tribological characteristics. For the objectives, firstly is to study the effect of wear scar diameter of ball metal by using scanning electronic microscope. So number 2, to determine the changes of coefficient friction of coconut oil and sunflower oil. And number 3, to measure the value of the frictional torque for coconut oil and sunflower oil. Okay, so does this topic still relevant? Okay, let me explain. 3,186 papers and journals has been published for the past 10 years from 2010 to 2021 by using keyword biofluid for ball that I searched through sciencedirect.com. The highest number publication reported in 2021 about 398 articles, while the lowest finding was in 2010, only 101 articles. This has shown that the increase in 10 years. This can be concluded the current research still has interest in this study area. Okay, these are the 5 example journal that related to my topic that I searched through sciencedirect.com. I have tabulated the result. For example, the author named Mohamad. In 2019, he investigated about the coefficient of friction at wear scar diameter. His finding is very interesting. However, his studies did not perform using coconut oil instead of using mineral oil. Okay, for my project scope, it consists of 3. The first one, this project only focus on two types of oil, which are sunflower oil and coconut oil. Okay, next, the maximum force that is safe for the ball bearing metal is determined using the 4-ball machine, which is 3019 Newton. Okay, lastly, the temperature of experiment is limited under 75 degrees Celsius. Okay, so we move to the my research methodology. As for my research methodology, it starts with preparation. Okay, the activity will go through experiment, tribological test until we obtain the result, which is to answer the research objective number 1 by data for both software. The minimum value for my coefficient should be more than 0.03. After that, to answer the research objective number 2 and research number 3, which is to study the effect of tribological properties of biofluid to frictional torque and wear scar, also can be done. Okay, for the procedure, firstly, we preparing the ball bearing. This preparation started by having 4 standard ball bearing and will be cleaned first by heptane. Then we will pour 10 ml of coconut oil or sunflower oil, which act as lubricant inside the ball pot. The ball pot will be put inside the heater of 4-ball machine and followed by the parameter condition based on the ASTM provided. When the temperature is ready, it can be started. For the variable parameter in experimental, there will be 2 methods used. Okay, first to determine the wear, the method used D2596, while to find the value friction, the method used is D4172. Okay, now let's focus on the expected result. Okay, the first result was obtained between coefficient of friction versus load. There are 2 types of oil used. The pattern graph is inclined, which means that the higher loads applied, the higher coefficient of friction. The sunflower have higher coefficient of friction compared to coconut oil with a very little difference. Next, for the friction, torque versus normal loads, we can see that both oil shows an increase at steady state at the beginning and quickly increase at the end of the experiment. It is shown that the lubricating layer broke down, which generating huge friction at the metal to metal surfaces, because at that time the bond metal was completely welded together. Okay, for my last expected result, the wear scar diameter. Okay, there will be less scar on the ball surface of coconut oil compared to sunflower oil. As for conclusion, this project was still ongoing. Now at this stage of determine the average coefficient and measure the diameter of ball metal, and if possible to proceed according to the Gantt chart. For my last conclusion, I think I am able to use the 4-ball machine to do the experiment to study the effect of biofluid between coconut oil and sunflower oil. Okay, so here's my project planning throughout the semester. So firstly, we start with study of 35 literature review to understand the term of tribology, the type of biofluid, the use of biofluid in tribology on the months of October, November and December. Start prepare ball bearing and sample oil, and also determine the parameter on week 10 and week 11. Then I continue with determining coefficient of friction and make analysis of wear scar on the month of January. So this is my proposal and it is in progress. But last but not least, start writing proposal the reporting form from week 11 until week 14.
Okay, we are at the end. Thanks for listening my presentation. And if you have any question, feel free to contact me through email and phone as it is like. Even have a nice day. Thank you.